This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, that's on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit and talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome to the July 28th edition of One Nation Radio. I am your host, Rich Latta. Of course, here with my co-host, James Boyd. James, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just ready to talk wrestling.
Yeah, man. As the more weeks that pass that I'm not watching WWE, I don't know if I'm finding it harder to come up with topics, but stuff always tends to jump out at the last minute. So we got a good show here prepared for you guys. We got a lot to go over, including like the G1. We got Stardom talk as well. A little bit more increased Stardom talk today because I've just, a couple things I'm picking up. I'm trying to figure out that the guru here,
oh my God, don't do this.
The top man, James Boyd, the authority on Stardom on here on Social Suplex, had to fill me in for. But we got some other stuff. We got GEDO, losing his damn eye. I went to Raw reunion, so I guess that's a good place to start. Yeah. Did you catch any of this, James, or any of the fallout? Or
I mean, I heard what happened. Like, I hear what happens on all the shows. Like, the thing with me is, like, I'm not, like, not watching Raw in some form of protest or SmackDown in some form of protest. It's like, these shows are not good. I'm having a miserable time watching them. It upsets me hearing how stupid these storylines are with all these talented people getting fucked around or whatever else because events is madness. So, like, when I hear good things, I'll check them out, and I'm desperately hoping that the show gets better so I can watch, the company that has my favorite wrestlers. That's really I'm not on the all elite train. Like, I'm gonna watch them when they come out too, but I'm not like screw WWE. Is like, nah, like, I like for my favorite wrestlers to actually like be able to put on the best wrestling that they possibly can, as opposed to the nonsense that they're running around doing half the time. So, or most of the time. So, nah, like I heard. What do you want to talk about?
So, like, just my overall impressions of being in the building. Luckily, it was kind of an in and out thing. So I didn't have to go in through the regular entrance. So I pretty much avoided seeing all the, just everybody that you run into waiting in a line and everything like that. So I got tickets through my job with my boy Dan, listener of the show. I believe he had someone that signed up for him. They won. Dan brought me. So, like, we go on the side exit. It's probably, I've gone in there before, like, when they had a house show last December. The main event was a steel cage match with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to that house show. Why not? And we had, like, the suite's mad comfortable. I'll say that. You're high up there, but you're facing directly pointing at the ring. So it was pretty cool to just walk up in there and just sit there and watch. And then you'd be able to just see pretty much what everyone's reacted to, who they react for, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, the pop in that building. My fucking God. Like, it was almost an out-of-body experience just seeing how over that might be the most over person I've ever seen in person in my life. Like as far as the reaction, like it was nuts. It was like, bro, it was a people have joked that it was a live cuckolding of Hulk Hogan, like by Stone Cold Steve Austin in his hometown. I never want to hear this thing about, Hogan's bigger than Austin again. Never. I will never ride with that.
Why? Because it is one experience?
Yes. And
it's two things. Like they're generational. Like I'm sure if Austin was the early generation where like the people in their heyday were in their 40s, 50s, etc., compared to people that are in their, people that are somewhere that are or a whole generation younger than that. Like sure, but I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff. Like there are legitimate reasons to not like either one of them. But right now we have one person that like at a time where it was, it's a lot more of a bigger deal to be out and open in the way that Hogan exposed himself. So, or he didn't expose him, but like the way he was exposed, that he exposed himself. So, like that, I think that definitely has a factor at play with it. But I mean, there's also the factor of some of those people that were the Hoganites, like those were, like those are people that have, their kids have kids. So, like, I don't think they really moseying in their ass to go sit somewhere where the arthritis can act up on them.
I can tell you this: it wasn't like it was quiet for Hogan or anything like that. It was fucking loud, and I felt like helpless out there, and just sad, and just like it was damn near universal applause, and what did
you think was gonna happen,
bro? It felt like I was at a Trump rally.
No, I'm saying seriously, what did you think was gonna happen?
Exactly that. Like this is no shock to me. I've been writing about how he's going to be received for over a year now, and it's just like you see it, but when you see it in person, it's different. It's just like, wow, none of these people care, not one. Like, and it was just like I sat there in disgust, and I was like, wow, this like dude thinks like we're less than human, essentially, and just this love and this company essentially putting him in another safe, quote-unquote, environment for him. Once he came out at WrestleMania, all bets were off. He's here forever now, y'all. And this is the Reclamation Project. He had a new shirt on, which I'm sure people went to go buy and everything like that, but I think it sucks. And seeing it in person was just fucking jarring. It was just like, a cold kind of feeling. And I believe Rob was there, but he was sitting in a different section to me, and he actually was in a row with, he said, a bunch of like other black dudes or whatever, and everybody just didn't have the energy to boo. It was just like watching it, just like, man, fuck y'all. Like that's what it felt like. And but yeah, I'll say Austin got twice the reaction, and I think I popped more for Austin, like, because Hogan was out there. Like, man, get this Hogan shit out of here. Like, I'm not I'm not trying to fuck with this shit at all. But another takeaway, I think Roman Reigns was way above Seth Rollins, above him. I saw a lot of Seth Rollins shirts, but Roman Reigns, like, when he came, you can just see the waves of people, not actually doing the wave, but people like getting up out their chair, cheering and being happy when he came out, and he was just playing the room like a star. And I was just like, man, that's. I wonder if Rollins has done a number on himself. And of course, Rollins did like a terrible interview that night, and yeah, it was
on the show.
Yes, terrible. He was like he was calling Brock Lesnar like a Seth Rollins wannabe and imitating Brock Lesnar the way he talks. It was just horrible.
Was this the same? Was this the same promo where he says, "Well, you want to be me, that's why you cashed in," or whatever else?
Yep. Yeah, I think Seth Rollins is like, just, I don't know if he's self-destructing in front of our eyes or they're just handing him corny shit. It's just like, every week he's exposing another layer of why he is not a top star on any level. Well, I mean, you reap what you sow, right? Like, we talked about this for years with Seth, even though people wanted to say otherwise and try to dismiss, like, WrestleMania main events and shit, that like he was always that Seth was always like, wow, they always had something for him to do, in much the same way that they always had something for Kevin Owens to do for a long time, his first 2 years in the company. They always had something to do. That means like, yeah, he's being somewhat protected, and they have a direction for him. That's great, because a lot of people, they ain't got shit for you, right? But
when it came to like, could he be the guy? Maybe. Has that road passed a long ass time ago? Probably meaning like, yeah, no, dumb motherfucker. And it is what it is. Like, if you push somebody as being the number 2 or number 3 guy for forever, and then all of a sudden you have to dust him off because number 1 guy had to go fight for his life, what do you expect was going to happen? It's like, you reap what you sow. It's like, you can't.
It's like Vince McMahon has never chosen you over Roman Reigns, never once.
No.
Like,
and there's no shade on being the person being the 1 or being the 2 to someone's 1. That's fine. Like, not everybody has to be a 1B or a 1A or a 1C, but he's clearly a number 2, and that's fine. And like, the problem is when something like this happens, and you have to readjust. Is like they did nothing with him for a while to get him into. We love Seth Rollins. It was always, for most people, it was always like, he's so talented, we respect him. Imagine what he could ... meaning what he could do if give him the reins being the 1 guy. And time has passed. Like, people had these windows and you missed the window, and it's like, all right, well, like, people have already changed their mind or have already taken their minds off that possibility of reaching that. Like, it's very rare to get people to, like, after you've already conditioned your fan base to think someone is not a top guy, to all of a sudden then make them a top guy, unless like that person, some situation of circumstance causes it to where like that person literally shakes the fuck out of the crowd and says, nah, it's my time. Like
CM
Becky
Punk.
Lynch, CM Punk, Becky Lynch, like that sort of thing. Daniel Bryan, at a certain perspective, like, it's very rare that you have that where they just overcome what they were naturally, like, Vince has slotted them, and then like Vince has conditioned his crowd to see them as that. Like, that's the reason why people, they protect Strowman so much, or they were protecting Strowman so much. Like, people like, if they make Strowman the champion ever, like, people are gonna be like, what? Like, he had all these opportunities over the last 2 years to.
It'll never be what it was,
right?
Or
like,
what it could have been.
They passed the peak. They missed the window on it. And it's fine. Like, he's gonna have a long, great career. He's gonna take over from where Big Show, or he's taking over from where Big Show was.
Hey,
he's
gonna have how I feel about it. Like that, he's better than Andre the Giant. But go ahead.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna be the big monster guy for the next 5-10 years or whatever else, and he's gonna make himself $1 million a year, and he's gonna have a great life. So he ultimately
won't miss no meals.
Right, that's where I'm getting at. Like, look, there are plenty. It's not the worst thing in the world to be the number 2 in WWE, right? So that are one of the top guys in WWE, but not the guy. Like, plenty of people. Look, I'm sure Sergeant Slaughter ate well. I'm sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure Jake the Snake ate well. Piper too.
Yeah. But like, back to the reaction. Like, I don't know, man. This show, there was no wrestling worth a damn on the show. Obviously, it was like a reunion show. They were slotting in a million cameos. Of course, we had the Give WWE Women a Chance hashtag popping up again, which is just like, I don't even know what to say, because it's like, I've been kind of like saying that this quote unquote women's evolution has been built on like a house of cards since at least before Evolution, if I'm not mistaken. Like, back when Alexa and Carmella were terrorizing the championships, I was like, what's going on here? And they got the main event, and it's almost, I believe it was Phil on Twitter. I believe he writes for Bell to Bells, and also Fansided DDT. He had mentioned, he was like, man, saying the women got the main event of WrestleMania, right, as like a reason you should be happy about their positioning. Like, oh, they got the main event of WrestleMania. What more do you want? That's almost like saying, Obama was elected president. There's no more racism in this country.
Jesus Christ. Oh, wait. So what you're saying is that, people. Okay, so one, I don't really interact with people that would say that sort of nonsense, because on his face, and you say that kind of stuff to me, you already know what you're gonna get. Like, we're gonna go at it, right? So I don't really.
I think he has a point. Like what he's saying, like, is pretty much the people that will say like, oh, you know, what more do you want for the women's division? They main event in WrestleMania. It's like, bro, they can main event WrestleMania and there's still a fucking host of problems that exist. It's like,
right.
You know, elect Obama, like that doesn't fucking do anything. Like,
right, and I agree with that. I guess I was trying to start off by saying, like, look, I don't really interact with people that would say that kind of disingenuous bullshit like on his face.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't really. So that's never. So basically, what I'm saying is like that kind of thought or that kind of saying has never. I've never even heard anyone say nothing like that about. Oh, they main event in WrestleMania, so therefore, like the women's product in WWE is doing well or doing fine or just good enough.
I've seen so many bad things on Twitter this week. So much bad faith, disingenuous, intentionally dense bullshit this week. So
it's just like any other week.
No, it is just worse. Like,
okay,
check out Brandy Rose's Twitter for her thoroughly owning some jabroni that runs one of the most horrible accounts on Twitter. I will not say their name as to shine them. But it's just like the whole deal. I don't know if you've seen where she was talking about, you know, the women's division of AEW. What we're trying to do is, you know, we want a Kia Stevens type. We're not looking for the standard cookie cutter 5'4" blonde, essentially. Dumbasses wanted to like literally bend over backwards so her head came out the other side and be like, so you're saying you don't want to hire 5'4" blonde women? Like, it's just so dumb. Like, it's just like, you don't know how any of this works. Just stop. Just like,
okay. So basically, what I'm saying, so back to this is back up a little bit. So
yeah.
This person or the people that would say everything's perfectly swell and dandy with the WWE women's division is like, okay, so why would you say that when we only have we have a division of how many people?
Right. Not that many.
And how many let's do this. How many women in the women's division right now are being used well? Let's just do that. Not even like are stars or should be doing this, that, a third, blah 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 blah. How many of them are doing just well?
Yeah.
Not good, well.
Whenever Charlotte has nothing to do, they just yank her from TV for months. Or, you know, she had some personal stuff with Andrade, but there was like a combo of that because she was gone, you know, a little bit before and a little bit after that whole situation was going on. So they when they have nothing to do for her, they don't have Charlotte like elevating people. So like Bayley's a champion, but she's like had nothing really to like hang her hat on as the champion.
She is a champion, but she is really like the MacGuffin while like Alexa and Nikki eventually like do their thing where Nikki's a dumb babyface and Alexa has been evil all along. Ha ha. How could you not have seen it even though like you've ran this now, like you ran it at a WrestleMania before. Jesus Christ.
Like Becky Lynch, they've cooled her jets a bunch. Who? Becky, they've cooled her jets a lot. She's still over to a certain degree.
They made her their idea of, okay, after WrestleMania, what are you gonna do? We're gonna have you teach somebody on the job.
Yes. Oh God.
You reached the pinnacle. Now what are you gonna do? We're gonna have you go ahead and teach somebody else on how to do this shit on the job.
Unbelievable. Then like you got Natalya getting pushed. Nothing wrong with Natalya, as we mentioned. We've been down the road, with her before.
I would say Natalya is doing well, so that'd be one person.
Right. Naomi, she was in a main event match against Sarah Logan. Of course, Naomi gets no chances. It's just like this division is bombed out and depleted right now, and you know how I feel like. You know, there is a reason they don't have Sasha Banks right now at their disposal. Like, obviously, they have fucked something up. Like, so, yeah. You know, Kyrie and Asuka, where the fuck are they?
Exactly. Like, so correct me if I'm wrong, right? So, just to look at the global view of it, right? So, the women's tag titles. I'm not going to go all the way back to Sasha leaving, all that. Let's just focus on the last, like, since they did the house shows at Sumo Hall, right?
Yep.
So, Kyrie and Asuka had to beat somebody on those house shows, on one of those house shows, to get a title shot. They did. They got their title shot on SmackDown not this week, the show before, right? So they clearly outclassed the Iconics. So the Iconics took the count out. And like a minute in a match that went less than 2 minutes. So like, wouldn't the recourse and natural storyline progression mean that, like, okay, so they get another match and then they can't, and then you make it to where they can't run or do anything? Because like wrestling, like you get heat, so there's eventually is a payoff, right? So where is the payoff coming here? Because apparently, from what I've been told is that, to my understanding is that, not only did they not get their title shot, they're not even going to get their title shot because now it is Mandy and Sonya that have either that have beat the Iconics or are going to beat the Iconics, or I think they already beat them this past week or whatever else. And then they're going to get they had to beat them to get, or either they have to beat them or they've already beaten them to get a title shot themselves. So it's like, all right, so
God, they're gonna.
How much longer are we gonna be doing this shit with the Iconics? Look, I understand. I enjoyed the Iconics off air, like the stuff they do behind the scenes is funny.
Sideline,
right? But I mean, like, they're just like a lot of people. Like, people are gregarious, charismatic when they're like not given their Vince's scripting, right? So that's not just necessarily Iconic thing. That's everybody's thing. So, all right. So what are we building towards exactly? Like, we already have 3 matches on.
I'll tell you.
Well, hold on. We already have 3 women's matches on SummerSlam. So are we gonna get a 4th match? Because like, look, the more women's match you would put on there, I don't give a damn. Because like, I don't watch the TV, so I don't care. You can make the whole damn. Look, how about this? Turn SummerSlam into Evolution. How about that? Evolution. So
run it back.
Yeah, why not?
Got a surprise for y'all, Toronto.
Right, it's like it's not like, you know, let's not pretend that like Evolution wasn't the best pay-per-view of the year last year on the main roster. So may as well do Evolution 2. Anyway, but like, so what is ultimately they're just doing shit that ultimately means nothing, which is like, okay, so maybe they are just treating them just like the men. Like, it's a whole bunch of shit that means that's ultimately gonna mean and signify nothing. So it's like, okay. Sounds kind of like how this books everything.
Yeah, maybe there is equality, but it sounds like there's a good old WCW triangle match coming between all those teams.
Don't do this.
That's what it sounds like. But back, you know, to back up even more before I got on the women's tangent. So a lot of the legends, like the women legends, the way the stark contrast they were presented in, like all of the people from the Divas era that were getting no reaction, and the audience is trained to just hate that era. And I mean, I'm not about to fake and be like, yeah, man, I was down for the Divas, because I wasn't, because I didn't want to see that shit. But
you know me, look,
yeah, but bringing them back now, like, and they can't even interact with, like, it's almost like, you remember how back when CM Punk was doing like the reality stuff, right? And then you talk about how you can't put him with like people that are like cartoon characters or something, like Del Rio, essentially, because like you fuck up, like, all right, I'm doing this reality thing, but I'm doing this thing here. But it's like they did these things with like the women back then. Like, you couldn't have Kelly next to Bayley. Like, it wouldn't make any sense.
I get your point. I don't necessarily agree, but I get what your point is. Like, I see, like, I mean, because for example, I mean, anything can be done if it's done well. The problem is WWE has a hard time doing things well without getting in their own way. So, like, I get what you're saying. Like, you can figure out a way to put the unreality with the reality, and I'm sure there are examples in the past of people doing that. I mean, there's a bunch of Undertaker stuff, right? But yeah, like, that was at a time when you had certain people that like were like really hands-on, and like Vince actually let do shit instead of micromanage to this extent. So, and he was also 20 years younger. So yeah, I definitely get you. But like, as far as the women's thing, like, yeah, I can see like them, you know, putting Bayley in a room, or putting, you know, I don't know, putting Ember Moon in a room with I mean, I mean, honestly, you put anybody in a room with Kelly, I'm just gonna be like, it don't really work. So like, I get what you're saying. Like, like Kelly was the bane of my existence in the 2011. Like, oh my god,
you can't have him respecting her as like a legend. Like, it's just, it ain't gonna work like that. Like,
right. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
It's like
all right,
we
fine.
definitely don't want to see a match between them, and then we don't want to see them teaming up either because they don't quite, curl. Like,
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm sure there is some hypothetical rub that Kelly could give one of the current women on the roster. But it
like who?
That's
Like
I
Dana
feel-
Brooke?
I feel like that's the problem of WWE, and then the most part is like we don't really talk about it, is like so much of what they do is trying to serve so many different masters that they ultimately serve none. And with we're going to send out the model searches and put women on the road that aren't really trained wrestlers and basically have them learn on the job and learn how to bump and not kill themselves. Then and have these short, super duper short matches where they don't really learn much or whatever else. And then you compare it to like now where like, they basically they've rated, all different corners of the world for some of the better women in wrestling over the last,
5
decade.
Years. Yeah.
5, 6, 7 years. Like, okay, like it's not a comparison. And I don't think that's necessarily fair to the women that you went out there and you gave them jobs to go out there and do this before and didn't give them the proper training to do so.
Right.
But like that's what it is, and like this is something of your own making.
Yep. Yeah, but like I was watching that show in the building. There was no wrestling worth a damn. They did
There wasn't even one match that was good.
They did a 5-minute Roman Reigns Samoa Joe match that was okay, but as I mentioned, it was 5 minutes. They did a Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles match that ended in a schmoz because they had to restart the match, bring people out, have the DX come out with Hall and Nash. Like, it's all one big group now, the DX and the NWO.
The Clique.
Yeah, it's one big group now. Like, because, like, they came out with the NWO shirts and the DX shirts, so they've, like, combined forces. And it's just, like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing DX like reunite a million times, like 3 times a year. Like, I'm good, bro. Y'all niggas is old. Y'all niggas is washed. Like,
hold on. Okay, so are you talking about like the Crown Jewel stuff from last year?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
And WrestleMania.
Fair enough. I'm not. Look,
like they win the Hall of Fame.
Look, when you said the Clique stuff, I was thinking like, okay, so obviously, when you meant the DX and NX, sorry, let me start over. When you meant the DX and NWO stuff, I thought you meant like, okay, so obviously, like we're talking about Razor, Nash, Shawn, Waltman, and Hunter as like, yeah, that's a Clique or whatever, both sides. So they
Road Dogg was out there,
But once you said like DX, you mean like, okay, you also mean like the Shawn and Hunter shit from last year. You also mean there's also Raw 25. So yeah, they have been getting back together a lot in the last, 2 years. So yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, and it's just like it never like comes at the expense of helping anybody except like they had Seth Rollins looking like a dumbass. They gave us a great meme though. But yeah, apparently it was supposed to be Ricochet that they were going to help out. But
if that was to help, like, okay,
yeah, like I wouldn't need. I'm glad Ricochet didn't get that help. If they didn't have that man standing on the outside of them all, hugging and everything like that, like, nah, man, like we don't need this anymore.
Okay, so obviously I didn't watch, so all I got was the meme of them all hugging and just basically keeping him out. Like you stay on the perimeter, guy. But was there ever a moment where like, they all shook hands, and Seth and the dudes? Okay, all right, that's better than nothing. The picture is the picture.
It's just funny, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's more just jokes and actually the full story. Okay, there's context being left out. Okay,
yeah, but like, they emptied the gun, bringing all these people back.
Yeah,
and they did 3 million viewers.
I thought it was like 3.1.
No, it was 3.0.
Okay.
They did 3 million viewers.
Yeah, and that's the biggest show they can possibly do.
That is damning. That is not impressive. That is not like, that's literally throwing the last 25 years of wrestling out there aside from like The Rock and Brock.
It's also really bad when you consider it like Raw 25 was them emptying the gun. They did like 4 million then.
They did 4.5 million then.
They did 4.5?
Yes.
So they did 4.5 like less like. Hold on, they did 4.5 like basically 18 months ago.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
Yes,
Wow.
And they've fallen to the point to where, and I'm like, there's no reason for me to like really watch this show anymore, because it was like they were celebrating like all these guys, and it's like a WWE that no longer exists anymore and is never coming back. And that could have been like the last time we saw a lot of those guys like all together at once in the ring, because you know how this shit is. Like someone can fucking drop, and it's just like, you know how Vince is. Like he's not changing. Like he's only getting steeper in the decline at this rate. It doesn't like reverse. like it's like dementia. Like he's not like, you know, like he's not the people that he had on the stage. Like he can't use them anymore. Like those ideas, like those good times are not coming back because the same person doesn't exist to put them in the place to have those good times. And
those same people kind of do exist, except like he's ruined all of them.
Yeah.
And that's the real thing, is like he's broken so many of these toys that like these toys can never ever be, you know, I mean they will be to a certain small amount of people, but like comparatively speaking, nah.
Yeah.
Like I mean for all we know we've had the next Austin, the next Rock, and the next, you know, Triple H, and the next Batista, and the next Randy Orton and John Cena, and the next Lesnar, and he's fucked off with all of them.
Yeah. Like
we'll never know.
The next Austin looks like he's undefeated in the G1 right now.
Oh God.
Shit's crazy. But it was just like, man, I don't know, bro. I don't see, like, they're gonna have to change a lot. Like but yeah, that 3 mil rating is not, I thought it would be higher. I thought it would be like 3.5 at least, 3.8 something, and it's just like, man. So when they're doing Raw Reunion like 10 years from now, right? And they're bringing back, you know, Randy Orton, right? Or something, right? Doesn't that sound grim? Like, doesn't it sound like, yo,
so
this is
that
not
means
the
they'd be
same
bringing
thing.
back. That means they'd be bringing back Cena.
Yeah, Cena, big reaction also. Very big reaction.
They'd be bringing back Cena. How would you compare it to Hogan?
It was just above Hogan, I would say.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I would say 10 years from now, geez, I mean, that's Hogan. That's not Hogan. I'm sorry. That's Cena. Batista by that time will probably be done with his shelf life at doing movies, so he'll probably be free to do that kind of sort of thing. That'd be
Triple H.
Triple H in theory would be the booker, so maybe he won't want to be on air. You know, who knows? I mean, I would say it'd be like the Shield guys, New Day. I think it'll do. I think, you know, you think about it now, like we're always stuck with the nostalgia thing, whatever. It's like, you know, it's always yesterday's stuff was always better, or the stars were bigger. And I mean, at the rate that this shit's going, like we're gonna go down lines here now and be like, God damn, like Becky Lynch is so much better than Stephanie's daughter. Like, right? It'll be something like that, right? So I mean, I wouldn't want to get too you know, I don't want to go too far on the thing. Like, I mean, look, they can always, I always say this when you know, they can always decide to unfuck themselves.
Yeah.
They can always pull their hands out their asses. I mean, like, I believe they have. I don't believe they're all dummies back there, and they're all like, you know, they don't care about putting their best foot forward. I just think that a lot of times they don't because of things that are beyond their control, namely Vince. So, like, you know, they just have to wait this shit out. I don't know how much more waiting they can do, but they're gonna have to wait it out.
Vince got 20 more years on top, bitch.
Boy. All right. Well, I guess that means you want to watch Raw and SmackDown, you better tune into the WWE Network. I don't know how this shit gonna be on cable 20 years from now at this rate if he's still booking this shit.
Shit. It might be on TNT, bitch. Right?
Oh my God.
Speaking of that, did you catch any of the business call that came out? It was largely boring. It was like all the metrics are pointing down, but they're still making a shit ton of money. I don't think there's really too much more interesting than that. Vince McMahon calling AEW a blood and guts company is hilarious. And
I heard the gist of it. Like, the merchandise is down, the attendance is down, the or the attendance for the quarter is down. Yeah, I mean, all the traditional money making revenue streams are all down, and down considerably compared to second quarter of last year. So yeah, and the TV's down compared to other cable. More like I think cable's down like 8% or something like that, and Raw this quarter somehow managed to stop some of the bleeding, only be down 14 compared to like the first quarter of this year when they were like down sometimes like something between like 15 and 20. So yeah, it's you know, Saudi Arabia and the cable deal that's gonna prop them up for a while, or is gonna at least 5 years, and you know, then we'll see what happens after that.
Yep. Besides that, like you know, I don't really know too much about like the stock market and all that. I know the stock like went up. I think it's people trying to get in, you know, as that, you know, there was a bunch of stock sold off recently by a lot of the top executives, including Vince, Stephanie, George Barrios, Michelle Wilson. All those folks were selling a shit ton of stock. My boy Dan was telling me how
Kevin Dunn sold a shit ton of his stuff too.
Telling me how it was like white collar kind of crime, essentially.
Insider trading.
Like I said that. I said, man, this ain't insider trading. Like, they're selling off a bunch, but what's gonna happen is they're gonna like get like some free grants essentially to replace those stocks, and then they're gonna buy the stock back essentially like at a lower price and cook the books essentially. Like, and this is the way like corporations does it, and he said a lot of big companies do it. Like, pretty much like cooking the books, cooking the stock, essentially. So this is like common that this happens. So, but yeah, like all the metrics pointing down. They have the money being propped up by Saudi Arabia. Vince says they're not going to do that gory crap like a potential competitor, which is hilarious. When they had Brock Lesnar busting Roman Reigns head to the fucking white meat at WrestleMania 34.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get at. It's like, okay, like you, like they're doing this shit on, like, look. If you look at the frequency of the amount of times it is happening where they're doing it, or they're like intentionally getting blood in AEW compared to WWE, yes, AEW, comparatively speaking, is doing it a lot more. They're doing like every show, right? Once every show, or, you know, like I'm not counting the Cody thing. And if you want to count the Cody thing because it was a dumb idea to have let's rig a chair shot and then it fucking backfires and splits somebody's head open, like, then I consider you a dumbass. Like, sure. All right, I'm with you. But either way, is like, yes, like you do it less, but you still do it, and you know,
they're also a sophisticated company, James.
Look, I mean, I'm not okay. What else was he supposed to say? Like what? Okay, if your wording was, look, we're not going to be doing blood and guts at the level because that's a thing of the past, and it's, you know, whatever else. Like, I guess the trend, the immediate words that come to mind is like, I guess more mature, sophisticated, and then like, you know, like you think of like some of the synonyms of the words you're looking for. Like, yeah, I see where he comes on sophisticated. No, don't get me wrong, it's still fucking hilarious that he said that.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Like, what? I'm not willing to jump. I'm not really just to jump on him for being like, really, really, and then go ahead and do your Drake Maverick line.
Oh,
you're like
Drake Maverick, like the sophisticated company where they have a storyline where a guy cannot fuck his wife until he is wearing the 24/7 championship during said fucking.
Yeah.
What?
Like, sophisticated. Right. Sophisticated. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah. Yeah, we're done with WWE talk. So let's talk about Stardom. Hit the music. It is so refreshing to hear the music signifying the beginning of our Stardom segment. I love it. It makes me feel happy. It makes me want to get at the end of the show, get up on here like with the mic in hand. And yes, I do have a handheld mic aside from the one I'm using to record. I was just, do the sign off like, I'm, Mayu, live now. I forgot what the phrase is.
Oh my god!
Shine together, we believe. Stardom.
But believe now, shine tomorrow. We are Stardom.
Yeah,
I believe is what it is. Yeah, I see you out there with that LL Cool J tattoo in your hand. Anyway, so all right, Rich. So can you do me a favor? Can you give me some of the quick in your mind, like the people that immediately come to mind when I say 2019 One Nation Radio Award Finesser of the Year?
All right.
Can you start coming up with a few names come to mind immediately?
Well, he can't win, but because the award's named after him.
Yes, right.
Jon Moxley.
That would be one. Yes, immediately comes to mind.
Chris Jericho.
Yep. Someone comes to mind.
Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah, he duped him into to give him the belt again, and also duped him into getting more money and doing like. He's signing from deal like short-term deal after short-term deal, like he's almost like signing quarterly or some shit. So yeah,
there have been a few more. Trying to think. I'm not sure. There have been a few more. I would have to say. Okay. I'm caught off guard by the question.
Okay, so that sounds like a good list. However, there is one person that absolutely I'm sure he's not going to win because people don't really know the backstory, but one person absolutely should be a lockdown candidate for Finesser of the Year on the ONR Award should be Rossy Ogawa, the owner and booker of Stardom. Okay, this man this year has managed to get Tony Storm and Viper and Xia Brookside, all WWE UK talents on his shows. From do different tours throughout the year so far this year, while also getting WWE talent to work his shows. He's also been able to get Maya Iwatani the fucking Woman of Honor belt. it got her on the Ring of Honor / New Japan Madison Square Garden show.
Yes.
Also got Kagetsu and Hazuki and Hana Kimura on the pre-show to that. In MSG. Let's see what else he's done. He was able to convince Cassandra Miyagi to leave Midnight Girl, leave Miko Satomura, and now she's going to become a free agent. And that happened. She showed up in Stardom in like February. She ended up becoming a full-time member of Stardom by the beginning of May. Riho, who was working at Go to Move, this hole in the wall promotion that's not even one of the 15 biggest promotions in Japan for Joshi. She used to tag intergender match or mixed tag matches with Kenny Omega back in the day, so she's on AEW. All right, so does AEW does a couple of shows and then all of a sudden, because she has multiple duties, that she can't really be a full-time member of Go to Move. Okay, that makes sense. She decides to become a freelancer. That's tradition. So we just had the Corrigan Hall show, which is like a pay-per-view essentially, and for Stardom. And guess who shows up? Who was supposedly a person that's freelancing? Rio shows up there. She says, "I will be at the next Corrigan show." So it's just a matter of time where she's announced as a full-time member in Japan of Stardom. So it's like, that's another one. So it's like,
on top of B, who he convinced to move to Japan.
And also B, who they made the champion, also ends up on AEW. He has more eyes on the product. He has B out here doing Manami Toyota's old finisher.
Yes.
Even though that breaks like the Joshi tradition, and because Stardom don't give a fuck. it's just
two middle fingers like rolls. Fuck you.
Yeah, like Sierra is not the biggest fan of B simply because of that reason. It's like, and look, I guess it's easier to do than to be able to get rid of tradition and make up your own rules. You're number one when you're number one in your country or whatever else. But it's like. He keeps figuring out ways to make this shit work, and at the same time, like they're having, they're probably the best wrestling in Joshi in the country this year again. But ultimately, never forget that like this ultimately is nothing but like a all of this wrestling that they're doing for Rossy. He don't give a shit about that. Ultimately, it's all about him trying to sell you some crap. He's trying to sell you, buy these streamers, buy these keychains, buy these shirts.
Money.
That's
Bro,
all it's about with him.
We walked by Rossy Ogawa at the Stardom show in New York, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's Rossy Ogawa!" And he just like nodded his head like at me, and then he had a handful of shirts in his hand, a handful of Queen's Quest shirts, programs, fucking like anything you want. Like you can come get it. He has it for sale.
Yeah, and like you've watched enough of these Stardom shows. He's always in the
videos.
He's always in the car cameras video. Do you ever see that man get excited when they're in the middle of a 4.5-star match? Do you ever see him like be excited? He's literally sitting there like he's about to go half.
He's like, hey man, wrap this shit up so we can start the pictures and
selling
the
more shit before and after the shows.
Yes.
So yes, I believe that look. I don't know if he'll make it next year or the year after that or whatever else, but he deserves it for this year. He's been out here grinding.
So
bro, this man took the tag title off of Momo to get you to believe that she was going to win the red belt at this Korakuen show and be a fresh champion. That's the only belt she has to defend. He took the high-speed title off of Hazuki. He was in the middle of, at worst, the second best title, maybe the third, one of the top 3 title reigns for the high-speed belt ever in the company's history, to get you to believe that she's going to be the fresh, brand new white belt champion. So she don't need that belt. We're just going to make a clean break. Both of them lost. You don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So where do you want to go from here?
All right. So before we get into the card, there was some news in the Observer this week, which should scare the shit out of anyone that, finds pleasure or joy in Stardom as its own independent kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When Triple H was over in Japan cosplaying as a Shield member or whatever the fuck, or a club member, a Bullet Club member this time, sorry. Throwing up the Too Sweet and whatever. He apparently had a couple meetings. He had some meetings with Dragon Gate, which apparently I talked to Josh today. I should be watching, and there's almost no excuse for my wrestling taste that I'm not currently watching Dragon Gate. So I plan to integrate that into what I've got going on. It's like the fastest paced wrestling, like with all just craziness. Just that's me all day.
Isn't that where like Ricochet and the Young Bucks started out in Japan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, sign me up. So, they also had a meeting, Triple H, with Rossy Ogawa and Stardom. That could be a million things. WWE's tiered network system, they rolled out the new version of the network. I was on there today looking at it on my phone, just a little bit different. Looks like a couple sections are gone. They did some cleanup. Whatever, but everybody knows the tiered pricing system is coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
For me, looking at it, it's just like, wow. And I've mentioned several times, I'm reading Death of the Territories. This is nothing but, globalization this time. Like, they did America in the 80s, and now they're drawing battle lines all across the world. They're trying to make sure that they establish these relationships with these companies, whatever, before. They're trying to essentially divide up, like essentially like this is NATO in the fucking whatever it is, like the other side, like the one with Russia and China and everything like that, and this is America and France and Italy and on this side or whatever. And yeah, it's like I really hope that they
wait, I'm trying to I'm sorry, American history buff, geopolitics. What war are you what potential war are you talking about?
It's only 2 labels, James.
Oh God, no, but never mind. I guess I'm getting kind of
all right, like the allies, essentially, like the American allies, and then
NATO, but NATO was way after that. NATO was like, well, since we've been alive, like that. You talk about World War II and shit. I'm like, what's going? I was like, wait a second, what NATO?
I'm talking about like traditional allies, essentially.
I get what you mean. Yes,
Russia and China are always affiliated.
Yes, the allies versus the Axis. Yeah. Right. I roughly get what you mean, but I was confused. Like, wait, it's NATO?
Yeah.
What does that got to do with the price of tea in Argentina? Like, what is going on? All right, go ahead.
So, I hope that they do not buy Stardom. I'm
I did.
that's what I'm like, all right. They'd be like, yeah, we'll buy your territory, or either make you like an underling, like an ICW or Evolve or something like that.
Okay,
I kind of prefer Stardom to act as like this independent kind of thing where everyone can go.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so just to give you a background, like the thing with Rossy, and it's kind of funny, is like Rossy is kind of like the Japanese, or let's not do that. He has a lot of parallels to like Jim Cornette and also Heyman, to where like they were young dudes taking photos, and then all of a sudden they were around a lot during what their perspective time, whatever perspective territory they're in, obviously Memphis for Cornette, WWF and other places around for Heyman, and then for Rossy after college, for him it was All Japan Women's. Mm-hmm. So he was there during that heyday with Manami and Asia and Jaguar and all of them. So anyway, he was around. They thought he had a sharp eye for stuff. He got into booking, and then the ownership went belly up. So then he tried to start. Stardom is his third attempt to try to, his third promotion he's trying to get off the ground, and like Stardom finally stuck. So, so for me, I don't know if it's so much about for him. I'm sure he enjoys doing that sort of thing. But like as far as by him buying in, whatever else, like I don't think I think he would do it. Honestly, I think he would absolutely do it. Now, does that mean that like after he signs whatever else and hands it over, like how many years he has before he can compete again? I think by the time over those 5 years or whatever else happens or whatever else, maybe he starts running again. But then there's also the opportunity, also the thing of like he's older, so he might want to just hold on to this thing, but I don't know who he passes on to. I have no idea, because like the people he originally started this thing with, like they're not around anymore. Mm-hmm. Like he started this. It was the Fuka, as the original trainer. She left in the last 2 years. She started a family. I don't know. You see the pictures that she's occasionally around some of the girls, some of the talent, but whatever else. And then they had a terrible falling out after the Yoshiko shoot thing in 2015 with Nene Takahashi, who was their first champion and was one of the 3 people that were running the thing with Rossy. So, or one of 2 other people that were running with Rossy. So like I don't know what their power structure is. It seems like it kind of got consolidated into just Rossy after the falling out after the shoot thing in 2015. But I don't know. Like, I mean, there are benefits as an American fan of if they say, look, we could kind of treat you like Evolve and Gabe Sapolsky, where like we'll send you talent, we protect certain people. He does that all the time. Like Tony Storm ain't been beating on right. And he don't give a shit. He'll beat anybody. He don't care. So I think in theory, as an American fan, like there's always worries, because obviously, like, what if they just buy it out and just let it just die, right? Mm-hmm. But if they actually were to really let whoever else run it in a way that it was ran before, and to keep it profitable, because I think they run an Americanized product or a fully Americanized product and run it like they're gonna work like WWE style, she'll just go belly up immediately.
Like NXT
right?
Japan, like part of like we're gonna combine like essentially. I don't see them being able to buy out both Dragon Gate and Stardom, like both fall at their feet essentially and consolidate.
I mean, look, they have the money to buy them 100 times over if they wanted to.
I just think it's just different, like in Japan, like nah, like like you ain't about to come in here and.
Yeah, me and you joked about it. It's like it would be cool to be able to, it'd be cool to be able to tune in and be able to like all the shows, all the matches are up from the Korakuen, and I can just go back and just press play as opposed to have to, the whatever big match or the best match is put up, I watch and have to come back in 5 days to watch the whole rest of the whole damn card, as opposed to just being able to just roll out of bed or whatever else and just press play and it's already up there. with translations or whatever else and announcing or whatever else. Like, I'm not a big fan on them actually having announcing. Like, I've heard New Japan Samurai TV that actually has commentary. Bull Nakano does the commentary with somebody else. Like, I kind of like just being able to watch the thing without hearing people. I just hear the crowd as opposed to hear commentary. But that's an aesthetic thing, whatever. But I just like, all right, you want to do that? I wish you the best of luck, because when you try to do these 4-hour taping in Kurikan, and you know, that shit can max out at like what 1,700, and that shit only gets like 650 people. Like, all right, God bless you. Like, because I see what that. I was like, oh, it's WWE. Okay.
Yeah.
I see them people shrugging their shoulder.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see like what comes, what all this means. If there's a super promotion of Dragon Gate and Stardom, like, I'm sure it would be interesting to watch. But it's just like, all right, it's now locked out from the rest of the world. Like,
yeah, my thing is like, if they would do it in that particular setup to where it's like, we put both of them together and merge them, and then like all of a sudden like, oh yeah, they only have like 3 women's matches or 2 women's matches on the card, and I definitely don't want that.
Right?
Hell no. You know, so like a bunch of people have to be fired.
Yeah. Like, it's like different, like over there, like, you know.
Like, I mean, okay, so
like, what did WWE's like? Yeah, we don't want this person, this person, this person. Like, fuck them. Like, I like.
Oh, you know, that immediately happened because it's like they're not gonna let any like they would have to have some kind of come to Jesus moment to be like, okay, so Momo Watanabe is like the best female wrestler in output last year in the entire world. We're gonna have to fire her because she's 19.
Yeah,
you idiots, you fucking morons. So, like, yeah, like that could be like that would be another issue.
I think they would get around that.
Still, okay.
Zaya Brookside is that young, I believe. Oh no, Zaya Brookside's like, I think she's 21. I think. Yeah, but I mean, there's still so many women that are that age. Like, there are so many women. Like, I think we talked about the other day. Like, there are 8 women on the Stardom's roster that are like anywhere between better than any of the horsewomen to very good, that are Zaya Brookside's 20.
That are like anywhere between the ages of 24 and 19. Right. So between like, what is that? That's Konami, that's Hana Kimura, that is Momo Watanabe, that is Utami Hayashita. I can't pronounce her name.
Hayashishita, I think.
It's really Hayashishita. But
never mind.
It's my American tongue is just so. So that's 4 I mentioned. There's also
about to mess around, just call her you.
Right. Wow. So there's B. There's also oh my god, Arisa Hoshiki. Like, there's Hazuki, right? So that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so much talent between the ages of 19 and 24, and it's like, if this was WWE, they wouldn't let 8 women that are, you know, that are all good, like, just be around at the same time. They wouldn't do that. They'd break them up somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They fuck around and move Kyrie and Asuka over there. Like, it'd be like, yeah, fuck out the way. Like, but yeah, man, let's talk about this card a little bit, man. I watched like 2 of those matches. The big 2, the red belt and white belt. I guess we start with the red belt.
Okay.
So Bea Priestley defended the title, was victorious over Momo Watanabe. I thought this was an excellent match. I am a huge fan of Momo Watanabe and her. Oh my god, when she was getting beat up, it was like those people were like, she's such a good seller. Like, these people were like living and dying with her. It was like, you thought she was getting killed.
Yeah, so I don't know, was that on air when we were talking about the fact that like B didn't get any streamers? Was that off
air? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
B got no streamers.
Yeah. The reason why she got no streamers is because like everybody that was in that building wanted Momo to win.
Yeah, like it was. Right? Yeah, it was clear.
Yeah, like that sort of thing is like her one day down, barring some type of injury where she gets a setback, like when she hurt herself in 2017, her knee or whatever else. Like if she stays healthy, like she's gonna be the red belt. She's gonna be the red belt champion the next 2 years. Like I don't see how they hold it off. Like she's a faction leader, so that she already has that advantage. And then like she's also the best wrestler in the on a big match basis. Last year anyway, she was the best.
I love that suplex
she was the best.
She does.
So yeah, the pump handle, or she basically reach underneath pump handle, and and also she does the that's like basically like she also does that like the Sami Zayn 50-50, that bridge.
Yeah.
The bridge that, but then like you kick out of that one, then she'll use that pump handle one. It's like, all right, yeah, it's definitely going. So yeah, she I really enjoyed the match. I thought that it wasn't the best match on the card, obviously, but I thought it was a really good match. I don't know. I didn't even put a rating on it. What do you have rated it? 4
I would probably
flat?
said 4 or 4.25.
I'd probably say 4 flat. Nah, I'm thinking, yeah. So it was a really good match. Just like, I think that at the beginning she gave too much to Bea.
Bea was kicking
like
the shit out of her, like
at the beginning, and then so I think that kind of like for me, I never really got into it because like she was so dominant over her at the beginning. So, but yeah, after a while, after the last part of the match really got me into it. So yeah, but it was solid all the way through. It was at a certain level, and then and then all of a sudden it's like the kickouts happening. It's like, okay, the kickouts were where the magic was.
Right. After the match, Utami immediately runs in check on Momo, and
right.
I'm almost like, man, why she ain't like she ain't say good match Bea, like she didn't even look at Bea, right? And I was like, man, I wonder if there's some smoke there. And then what do you know? So,
no, well, I think I mentioned this in the last time we talked about Stardom. One of the last times was that after her defense against Konami at the Sapporo show a month ago, she said to Momo and Bea that like whoever wants the title shot can get it.
Right.
So Momo basically took the first one, and I guess like Bea was like, I didn't forget. So that was cool.
Yeah. It was actually, to sidetrack for Tommy, I watched some of her match. I didn't see the whole thing. I was like, I watched her entrance, and I was like, wow, sad times. Utami only coming out with 2 championships on.
Yeah, she still has the features title and the WSA title.
So Bea basically is like, I didn't forget.
I'm sorry, hold on. The SWA title, sorry.
Yep. She was like, if you want it, next month, Korakuen Hall, Utami versus Bea, run it.
Yeah.
Utami's like, the Red Belt Champion challenged me. What the fuck I look like not to want to run it? So I'm like, why does Bea want to beat up all her friends, James?
I mean, they're trying to establish her. Because like okay, so we talk about like when we talk about people in long-term booking, how we always say show your work, like have all these points A, B, and C lead to Z, and ultimately for her to get the belt, like there was no work really done to get her to she's a red belt champion. It was all like, wait a second, like she's a red belt champion, then like you think about the politics at play, you're like, okay, that makes sense, she's gonna go to AEW, blah 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 blah. But it's like now you have to deal with your domestic crowd, and your domestic crowd is like, they like Bea, they don't love Bea because Bea was, 1, she's a gaijin, and 2, she was a mid-carder at that for forever, and you just put the belt on her and rocket strapped her out of nowhere. So they have to give her people that are super duper credible. That so now she have to eat the heavy hitters. Like you have to beat Kagetsu, you have to beat Momo, you have to beat I'm assuming Utami to get to at this point. So that's where we're headed. They're building her credibility after the fact.
Man, I'd be interested to see how that goes next month, because I think Utami has a shot. She's been like, I don't know if she's ever fought for the red belt before. You have to fill me in, but doesn't it seem like she's been like this prodigy? Like essentially, I don't know, like if they want to make this more of a crowning moment for her, if this is an exhibition.
Well, okay, so there is a story at play for Utami if she were to win the red belt. I mean, the story play regardless. Like, okay, so the next Korakuen Hall show is August 10th. It's only a couple weeks from now, right? Yeah. It's the same day as day before SummerSlam. No, same day as SummerSlam SummerSlam Takeover weekend, right? So
G1 finals. That's a fucking murderous weekend.
yeah. So the thing that's funny about it is, like, remember how in the Observer, Utami finished second for Rookie of the Year behind Rousey, right?
Right.
Okay. The thing about Utami being second in that on that thing is that, like, Utami, like, okay, so this Korakuen show on August 10th will be her 1 year anniversary.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Like
it'll be her 1 year. It'll be her 1 year anniversary because, like, last year was on August 12th. August 12th, and I think that was also Kagetsu's 10-year anniversary show. So like, all that, you flash forward to where we are now is like, okay, so she debuts, she goes to a 15-minute draw with Jungle. She wins, or she goes to the final of the 5-star Grand Prix, which is Stardom's G1, and she loses to Mayu, and then she wins all those belts over that span of a year, and now we're at this point where she can actually win the title in basically a year, or 363 days.
I'm calling it now. Utami's gonna beat B.
Could be. I mean, my thing is, if B doesn't lose here,
she gonna have that bitch for a minute.
If B don't lose here, like, I mean, she could lose to whoever wins the G1, the Grand Prix, but at that point, it's like, all right, well, she beat Momo already. She beat Utami. I don't see anybody on the horizon that should be a red belt champion right now that screams out to me right now. So in theory, like, if she wins here, I will keep the belt on her until the year-end climax, the last Korakuen Hall show of the year in December. I think that's like, I think it's either Christmas Eve or the day, or Christmas, or December 23rd. So, like, that's where we're headed right now. I think if you're gonna do it, then do it.
I think
like,
if she beats Utami, it's like, all right, she's gonna be around for a while with that belt, because I don't know when AEW starts to come into the fold here, because she's listed on the AEW website, like, as a wrestler. So I don't know, like, how that's all gonna work, like how much, like, she'll be on every week, but I'm pretty sure she'll be at All Out. Like, so
yeah.
The semifinal match, the Arisa Hoshiki, I got it correct, yes, has defended the white belt against our girl Hazuki. I love this match. I thought it was better than the main event.
I did too.
I saw it and I'm just like, bro, like Arisa is like, remember that, Kaya? Respect me. You gonna respect me? Like this. Like, that's what this is. Like, I thought it was fucking awesome. Every match I've seen of hers, I've dug. I watched less than you. I know you said there was, like, some energy around her where it's just like, I don't really get it. Like, kind of like, the B thing a little bit, because they're in tag teams and they never really showed anything as a solo. But I've only seen the solo work, and I've been blown away both matches. Okay,
so for me, like, I'm at a point now where these last two Korakuen Hall shows where I'm just like, okay, like, she is this. She does. Do you remember the Bill Simmons talk in his book, on the Book of Basketball, how he talked about there are certain people that are, I think it was table setters, where certain people put things on the table and also take things off the table, and, like, you live with the good and the bad because that good is so good. Like, think of, like, a Rondo not being able to shoot, a Russell Westbrook being a poor decision maker because he plays so hard. There's nothing left in his tank at the end of the games. Like, those people, for example. So Arisa is at a point where, because she is so she's just getting back to this, where she wrestled in 2000. I want to say I think she's in 2011, 2012 with Stardom. Like, I think she was. I'm pretty sure. And then she left, and then she came back after, like, a 6-year. After going to be gone for 6 years. So, like, she came back pretty much, like, in the fall, maybe? Oh no, or maybe it was I think it was maybe the November Korakuen Hall show. So like she's only been back to doing this for so long, and also like when she was gone for so long, so it's like she's relearning how to do all this. And when she was doing it before, she was super young. She was a kid. Like she's only 23 now, right? Like so she, in theory, she's probably like 16, right? So you see these big matches, and it's like, all right, you see her in tag match, you see she has like the kick, like because of the kickboxing background, you see like the strikes are there, or whatever else.
My God.
But you see her do things, is like, okay, like maybe it's not a good idea in tag match to suplex one person by a corner, suplex another person and stack them on top of each other, suplex a third person and stack them on top of each other, and then go to the top rope and then do not a meteora, but like double diving knees onto a pile of people, because like you're about to roll in your knees into somebody's face. You know what I'm saying? Like she does stuff like that, or like maybe don't do double knees here because like you damn near just rolled your ankle because you didn't tuck you didn't like move your feet out the right way. You're gonna hurt yourself. So, and what is it about this selling where you're like your hands are flailing around like you're a Bailey inflatable tube man person? I don't get it, but whatever. Like she's a very good athlete. Like I remember. She's a great athlete. Like she might just be one of these like raw super talents. Is like she's learning as she goes, and she's already this good. So just imagine where she's going to be in the future. I would also like to throw in a shout out to Hazuki and Tam in these last two matches, because like both of them had the matches of their lives with this woman. Yeah,
and like Hazuki is one of my favorites because she was a high speed champion.
Right.
Saw her live in New York. I'm looking forward to rewatching some of that. She loses here in her quest for the white belt.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's a shock or anything. Like it was like you would think that Hazuki was headed there, but B and both Arisa both had their third defense. So it's like they're gonna be whooping ass on top for a while. Like that's what this night told me.
Yeah, and another thing is like they don't really, the belts are protected, so it's like they'll just suspect that all right, B won it in May, so she's gonna come off of it. Nah, they don't really do that. Like, I mean, there have been short title reigns, but like a lot of that stuff is like, it's stuff that is like injury. Like Mayu had a short title reign after she finally beat Io because she, in the middle of the match with Toni Storm, she dislocated her elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like, all right, well, you have to throw that, quote unquote, throw the X up and just hand Toni the belt, right? The white belt, that belt's pretty big too. Like you got to think, like this champion, or the red belt anyway, for example, there's only been 11 reigns between 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
The company started in, was it January 2011. Like that's a well protected belt. So they're gonna hold on to him for a while. Like it would have been cool to have seen Hazuki or Momo to have done that, especially because you just know that like that's where Momo's headed. But there's always something about the chase and the journey.
Yeah. But
hold on real quick. I have to say, when they're the match was going very well, and then all of a sudden when they get to the end sequence where Hazuki's on the top rope, she's about to go for her pump dive thing, her finish, and Arisa shoots up, catches her on the rope, and they start trading forearms back and forth on the top turnbuckle, and then Hazuki grabs her in a clinch and just runs her knee with her face right into a knee lift, and then Hazuki basically flips off of Arisa's back because she's laid out on the top rope, and then she grabs her back and then gives her like that that neck breaker thing from the top rope, and then it's like, that's so nasty.
Yeah,
so good.
There was a kick from Arisa that I loved that she does. It almost makes you think of the old Ernest the Cat Miller top rope kind of spinning, roundhouse or whatever. But she doesn't like start backwards; she starts facing you, and it's like she just
the Yeah, she calls that $13.99.
Yeah, that shit great.
Yeah, every time she does it, I'm afraid she's gonna like blow out her knee.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's gonna be a Sid situation, but I think it's gonna be because the way she lands is makes me think like she's gonna tweak her knee one time, then it's gonna be just done. But then again, maybe it doesn't happen because she's like a rubber band too. Like that's the one thing all these crazy bumps in Stardom is like all of them are like springy as hell. Like they're all like Sasha Banks, where it's like I don't have to worry about her bumping like that because like she's almost like they're all almost like Gumby, almost all of them.
Yeah. I would probably say if you're feeling real good, you go 4.5. I'd probably go 4.25 on this.
I when I first saw it, I gave it 4.5.
So
I thought it was one of the 5 best matches in Stardom this year.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoy that. I didn't see the rest of the show, but I know there's a tag team match. Jungle and her partner, was it Konami?
Konami. Yeah, it was good. I'd probably go 3.25. And they didn't try to have an epic match. They just tried to have a solid top of the mid card match, and they end up having it.
Yeah. But yeah, so we will follow more closely on Stardom. I'm starting to starting to actually kind of learn some shit. So let's. Do we need to talk about the Riho thing, or did we already do that? No, I forgot. That she's debuting next month at Korakuen Hall.
Yes, and I think she's going to be in the high speed title match against Def Yamasan. So yeah.
So yeah, Def Yamasan. There was a funny picture that came out. I think I might have retweeted it. Rio was looking like a mother of like 2 children of a nice like Starlight kid and her goth daughter Def Yamasan. But yeah, it was pretty funny. But last thing I want to talk about today is Gedo shaking the fucking table and deciding that the LIJ stands might have to eat the pills. Jon Moxley defeats Tetsuya Naito, and Kazuchika Okada defeats Kenta, as both men stand on top of their blocks at 5-0. Everyone is trying to figure out who the fuck is getting the fall title shots at Okada. This has led to speculation of Okada possibly winning the G1. The Jon Moxley winning the G1 start is talking. The Naito is in deathly trouble. It's hilarious now, I think, that if you're rooting for Naito really hard, you have to get on bended knee and sell your soul to start rooting for Toru Yano and Jay White. My God.
Yeah.
You hate to see it.
Like seriously, like you're just like, can we just get some banana, like especially with Yano, it's like, can we get a banana in the tailpipe victory for him? Another one, because remember, like Yano beat fucking Naito.
Yes. So Gato's like either he got a masterpiece brewing or something's like he's got everybody just like lighting their brackets on fire. I kind of, this year I was going to fill out a bracket, and at the last minute I didn't get one done, and I was like, whatever, I don't feel bad. I'll just watch it and root for Anarchy or whatever. Like, I have no, like, bracket to uphold or anything, so it's just like, all right, whatever they do is fine with me, but...
Okay, so if we can just backtrack and go to can you get yourself into your mind state of, a couple weeks ago before the G1 started. Who do you think were going to be like the final two for Block B going into the G1?
I mean, you would think Naito and Jay White, because they're like they're the headline match of the final day, and then with Juice and Mox underneath them, so maybe there are going to be implications there.
Well, like Jay White's already out of it because he's already lost 3 times. He started out 3-0 or 0-3, so he's already like we always thought that, like I thought last week we were talking about like he's gonna reel off 5 straight and then he's gonna end up in the hunt. But it's like you're trying to now at this point you're trying to find L's for Moxley. So it's like, okay, like we got 2 of them. Are we gonna get a third?
Like he's
gonna start doing draws.
He got 4 matches. So he has Yano, he has Juice, he has White, and he has one more. I think Goto, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, it is Goto.
So, Goto the Geek.
And the whole commentary around his match now at this point was like, should he even be in the G1 next year? That's what they're talking about
crazy.
Now. Like, he got into this great shape, and now and that didn't even work. So what now?
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
So you got Yano, which anything can happen in a Yano match.
Yeah.
You got
Unfortunately.
You got Juice, who probably is a loss looking at it. And Juice is putting himself in position to do well. Ishii's sneaking around. I'm hoping upon hope. Maybe, Ishii, but he already lost to Moxley too. So also Ishii versus Robinson today. We were going to get to it, but Tomohiro Ishii keeps adding to the all-time great catalog out here. The thing is for Naito to win a block, Moxley has to outright pass him in points because he doesn't have a tiebreaker over him. Right. So yeah, there's a lot that needs to go into, as well as Jay White. Jay White needs to either beat him. If he loses to him, he's done.
Jay White's gonna have to get off his ass, and then Naito is gonna have to just win out. That's the only chance.
Right. Yeah. So
and also Moxie's gonna have to either lose or draw to some combination of Goto and Yano.
Yeah. So the Jon Moxley to main event in Wrestle Kingdom thing doesn't sound like so much of a joke anymore. And this command's come a long way from being on upset alert in night 2 against Taichi. Yeah, it's come a long way, long way. I don't know who would think of such a thing. Josh Smith, you can go to hell.
Josh was Josh watch all of that G1. Sorry, all that G1. Watches all that New Japan, all those Road 2 shows to come up with some shit that like that. Boy.
I don't think beating the hottest wrestler in the business with Taichi was a feasible, I couldn't see that really happening, but
bro, that set our discussion, that set that group on fire for an hour. It was almost as if I don't even know what else could have been such a spark fire for our thing like that. What could have else would have happened? I don't know. But we were all wait a second, what?
But yeah,
we all. I mean, we didn't say nothing rude, but we all jumped on that man's head. It's not cyberbullying, but it was cyberbullying.
Yeah, don't be saying this out loud. Yeah.
I think one of us cussed at him.
It was me. Yeah, you
were get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think I went on the voice audio Josh, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? It was he was yeah, he's more popular than than Moxley is or something. He's more popular than Jay White or so. I was then put the fucking IWGP title on him then.
Yes, that's what you said. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We gonna hear about this. Yes. Josh ain't gonna appreciate this.
Yeah, not at all. So, but yeah, we don't have to worry about Taichi winning the block. So, yeah. Is now Okada on the other hand, right? People saying it was yo, what if this is one big elaborate work, and we about to set up for this New Japan AEW fucking Wrestle Kingdom face-off match. Okada's gonna win the G1. He's gonna call out Kenny, or they're gonna do a Moxley Okada match in the G1 finals, and they run it. I'm whatever. Sign me up for Okada Omega 5. I'll take it. If that's what we have to settle for, James, sure, I'll go for it. But I got a feeling this will upset some folks.
It's not right. It's not I it's not I spent the money for WrestleMania weekend at MSG expecting that match, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Kenny didn't fuck me by going to AEW.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so and you look at it, it's bro, Okada's murdering this fucking block right now. He hasn't faced Ibushi yet. He hasn't faced Archer. And
is that last night?
Ibushi's the last night.
Makes sense.
So it's gonna be real interesting to see. Everybody's trying to find out where's the loss coming from. Maybe it's Archer. I'm not sure. But Okada's if they make him win a G1, that would be a unique twist for the G1.
Yeah,
select your opponent.
Wouldn't he be the first person to ever win the G1 as a champion? When there weren't some weird circumstances around it. Weren't all the previous like champions that won the G1 like didn't they all win because like there were like weird circumstances around them?
I think so. That's all before like the modern like Wrestle Kingdom stipulations.
Right.
Believe.
Yeah, like we're basically like talking about the Royal Rumble like before 1993.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know,
I'm
man.
sorry, before 1992. Sorry. What about you forgot about Ric Flair? Like, okay, chill, relax.
I'm enjoying what they're doing with the G1. I don't think it's last year as far as like high-end match quality.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just under that though. I don't think there's as low as lows. I had a conversation actually with Josh, like talking about like, you know, I think a lot of the thing that we're noticing is maybe why some of these things aren't achieving as high, or people are trying to convince themselves they are, is like, these guys have all been around each other for a while now. And I made this point to him, like, you know, it's not the newest, like, scene of guys wrestling each other. It's like,
right.
What more are Ishii and Naito going to do to each other? Like, it's
right.
like they've all done it. Like, and they were 2 years younger, like, when they were at that 2017 level where we just, like, the shit just exploded, and we're 2 years removed from that. Now, mind you, 2018 was still fucking great too by the time we finished it, and then 2019 is great on like its own level. But you know, just to focus in on the G1, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. But
okay, well, would you say this though, compared to last year, and last year being supposed because like, would you say that at the expense of them, I don't even think that's something they did purposely, but at the expense of like some of the roster shakeout with Kenny being gone, do you think that, like, yes, the ceiling is not as high, but the floor is definitely higher too?
Yes. I think that's definitely in play, like, because I was going through Kenny's Cage match from 2018, and then you just fucking get lost, and then you forget, like, yo, like all these fucking 5-star matches, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like him, Ishii, and Ibushi all in the same block, it was just ridiculous. And then like Naito was in that block too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Naito didn't come on until late.
Right, and I think like with Naito, like I think there is. You know, people talk about Tanahashi's physical decline, right? They don't talk about Naito's. I actually have recommended, you know, the 2017 G1 a couple weeks ago on Keeping It Strong Style as my recommended match, the G1 final with him and Kenny. I got a message today from someone, and they were like, "Where the fuck is this Naito?" That is a new viewer.
Do I know who sent that?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing about that is like,
I'm like, it's still in him. It's just not as frequent.
He don't. Yeah, like one, it's also like his neck is super fucked up, and his knees are fucked up, and that's because he wrestles like a maniac, or he was wrestling like a maniac. But like, you know, that Kenny Naito, that G1 final from 2017, like that's outside of, not talking about putting favorites aside, like objectively watching, I think that's like the fourth greatest match I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like the only other ones that I think are higher, or actually no, I take it back. I think it's the third best match. Only the other ones that I think are better are like the first Kenny and Okada match and the last Kenny Okada match.
Mm-hmm.
Like that match was incredible. Like when that freaking like, oh, there's gonna be suplex. No, there's not. I'm going to do basically DDT you into the freaking steel post. Like that's it's like yo, that's like who would have thought of something that maniacal?
Yeah.
Like they were incredible in that match.
Yeah. So it was just like, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I am enjoying it though. The G1 is definitely living up. I think we are kind of reaching that middle point right now, as far as like some of the, like, instead of like, yeah, there were 4 great matches, recommended matches. There's like 2 last couple days. So you know, this is the point where I'm starting to, you know, kind of cherry pick a little bit. But I did see.
Well, this is like the time of the tournament typically where like people like, this is like the third quarter is like the worst time of the tournament. Like it's always like, you know, start strong first half, kind of like, oh my god, I'm aching and dying, and then all of a sudden like those last 3 matches everybody has is when it's like people start, you know, going nuts. So it might turn around soon.
Yeah.
Turn around from being some of the best shows of the year.
Yeah.
You get my point.
Yeah. I did see Tomohiro Ishii and Juice Robinson have a fucking war today. 4 3/4.
Wow.
Jeremy gave it the same rating, I believe, and it was just like, these dudes, they caught me on the near falls. They caught me beating the shit out, like they were beating the shit out of each other. Juice Robinson cussing at Ishii like, "Let's go, motherfucker," and all this like crazy stuff. Like, it was like Juice has it in his head that, like, all right, I saw what Mox did with him. Now I got to show what I can do with Ishii.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Juice is like, I don't even know if he's really focused on the G1. He's focused on Jon Moxley. Like, he's circling that date on the counter like, I'm going to fuck this nigga up, like, at all costs. Like,
that's the last night, right?
Yes. So it's like everything he's doing, he's trying to match this dude. And Tomohiro Ishii, what else can I say that I haven't already said? This man is an all-time great. This man is a legend in the flesh. This man is a Wrestler of the Decade nominee. This man will not be stopped by anybody. This man got in the ring with Jay White and had Jay White looking like he was, you know, if you see the rest of Jay White's tournament, it ain't been what he did with Ishii. Jon Moxley, first 5-star match with Tomohiro Ishii. I'm very proud of my dog Ishii. I thought the match was incredible. Highly recommended if you guys want to check that out. And it's just like, for me, it kind of has like the feeling, not quite the same feeling where I was jumping outside of my body last year when I saw Ibushi and Ishii, and it was just like, I don't know what this is. Like, but this was clearly like, still like in the wrestling sense. I really fought with it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, like Ishii's at a point now where he's almost like he's like Eminem on the second verse of Business, where he's like, you ain't even pressed no more, you used to it. Like,
wow.
Like, yeah, man, like, I do this, I've been doing this, like, for, in the G1, like, yeah, I do this, like, I'm never going to have a non-great match in the G1 at this point. It's like, you're just judging me against my previous excellence, and I'm just trying to hold it in the road to keep up to that standard. And it's like, that's the reason why, like, Ibushi was probably the MVP of the G1 last year, but, like, for me, Ishii's like, hey, man, don't sleep on this just because he's been doing this. Like, pay it, like, Give him some credit, because like, this is really hard to fucking do. Is like, this man is going up against, like, the two most quote unquote complete, two of the most 4 or 5 most complete wrestlers in the world, and he's like holding his own against them. Like, he's going bar for bar with, like, he's out here going bar for bar with, like, Black Thought and LL Cool J. Like, get this man some props. What's wrong with y'all? So yeah, at this point, it's like, man, I don't know, man. Like, I get concerned for him as far as like how many more years can he do this, and like, should he keep doing this? Like, because he's 43. I think there's gonna be you talk about like that, like, there's always a cost, and like, that bill will come due, and I don't want it, I don't want to see Ishii's already like walks around already like he's already like hurting, but like, I don't want to be a situation where it's like, one of these times he comes back and is like, it's really bad looking. But
what Ishii kind of reminds me of? Like, it's like a great NBA guard that can't shoot, and when the shooting goes, and with Ishii is going to be like when the body gives out on him. It's like, I don't know what he's going to have. It's going
to happen all at one moment, and you go, no, like,
right.
We're never coming back from this. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
That's what it reminds me of. But while we're on this wave right now, I'm going to ride for my dog, kill for my dog, like. He's like, wait a second, like, Iverson just made the All-Star team last year as a starter. Like, why is he why is he in Memphis now? I don't understand. Yeah, why is he waived after 3 games? Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah. So I think Ishii's gonna drop. Like, when the drop comes, it's gonna be like a thud, right? But we ain't there yet, and this man's been outperforming, some of the best over the past couple years, and where the fuck is his shot? You know, like where's the love? You know, where is the Tomohiro Ishii Big Four or Dominion style IWGP match? Like, I know he got a shot last year at Kenny at Destruction. I appreciate that. That's cool, huh?
That was destruction. That shit.
Right. But that's like, come on, man. That's like the pay-per-view after WrestleMania type challenger. Like, nah, man. Like, make my dog a dangerous challenger. Make my dog somebody that they have to fear. Because we know when Tomohiro Ishii shows up, it doesn't matter if it's against Yuji Nagata. It doesn't matter if it's against Evil this year. It doesn't matter if it's against Taichi. It doesn't matter if it's against Sabre, Moxley, now Robinson. This man has been incredible, and I will not get off this. And motherfuckers got and suckers Okada, suckers got to know. You know, like Stevie Ray used to say. Oh yeah, but you know that's my weekly ride for Tomohiro Ishii rant. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, anything else y'all you want to touch on, James, this week? I know CM Punk was in the news recently. With,
God, that again.
With something going on. I don't know the whole deal. Apparently, like he was saying, like they tried to sign him via text message or something like that, and he didn't appreciate that, or he didn't like how that was done or something. If it was me, if I was running AEW, I'd be sending him a limo, a jet, and another limo, but that's another discussion. Then he had said something about, every time he talks to these guys, like, have a good show. Like, they'll go in the media and say, oh, we have a great relationship with Punk or something like that. I mean, or Tony Khan would do that when he's talking to, like, one of the Bucks. I don't know what he's really trying to accomplish there, because like when like Tony Khan and the Bucks, they are one now. They are AEW. So like Tony Khan, of course, he's gonna assume he's included on that, I would think. But did you catch any of this? Like, and he had the interview with ESPN. Cody was involved somehow.
No, I didn't follow, because like at this point, it's like, look, Punk is going to do the Starcast 3, right? It's 3,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
He's doing Starcast 3. So if he's doing Starcast 3, he's not going to be on All Out. Otherwise, like, that would be ridiculous. Or you're burying your own lead. So, like, another thing is, like, look, he has, by all accounts, almost every chance he gets has expressed how, like, he is, more or less done with fake fighting. So it's like, I'm not holding my breath for CM Punk. Like, I would love if he came back, but like, I'm not holding my breath for it. So it's kind of where I am on. He's like, look, man. And also, he's like, how old is he? 30? He has to be like damn near 40.
40.
Now.
He's 40 now.
40 on the dot. Yeah. So it's like, look, man, that's a lot. That's a hard ass. Like, someone ain't taking bumps in a long ass time to go, oh yeah, you go out here and start bumping again at 40. Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if he does show up. I mean, he is in the city. I'm sure somebody will speak to him that weekend. Be like, yo, so do you want to come? Because you can still get on this show. Like, we can still write you in. I assume that conversation will happen, and until it does,
it will blow the roof off.
Yes, it will blow the roof off.
It would be very reminiscent of like Money in the Bank 2011, where a crowd in Chicago would just lose its shit.
Yeah,
or in the Chicago area lose its shit. But like, I mean, yeah. I'm just not. I would love for him to come back, but I'm just not holding up my hope. I'm just not holding out hope for it. It's just, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. 2014 was a long ass time ago.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Mr. Punk and everything else like that. But anything else, James? Before we get up out of here, you want to hit on?
The game you were talking, you sent me the other day. Like, people were on Twitter and they decided to, I think it was like, use a rap name to transition into a wrestler name, or vice versa.
Do you have the list of the ones you made?
Oh yeah, Jay-Z, my Ion, Big Shawn Michaels, Silk the Shockmaster, Stevie Ray Shrimmer.
Okay.
Uncle Luke Harper.
Yep.
Pusha T. Hoffman.
That's a good one.
Master MVP. Ray J. Lethal. This is a Tampa one, but Tampa Tony Nese.
That one's great. Is it like more than y'all know?
Yes, Trick Daddy Cool Diesel.
That's great.
And then the one that just like maybe like want to stop doing it because it came to mind. I just like was so upset. I was like, it's unavoidable. R. Kelly.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a if you guys have any rapper wrestler names that pop out at you, send those in to us. We'd love to read some of those out to see if you guys have any overlap with our message group that we had. It was going for a while. Like, I sent it and I fell asleep, so that's why I didn't participate. And I was like, oh, I came back and saw y'all did it. I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to be able to think of anything else. But
Trinidad Dream Storm. That's another one that came.
Another good one. Yeah, but that's gonna wrap it up. We'll holla at y'all, I guess, next week. Same time, same place, same network. So Suplex Podcast Network.
What an awful outro. Just wrap this up, bro.
Yeah, holla. Y'all know the shows.
Go home. Go to the finish.
Yeah. Immediately. 1, 2, 3. We out of here. Fuck you. Peace.
Later.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.